At first, we move slow, and then we need to start moving faster. And that's what this class is exactly about. Welcome to another Kinstretch. I have my friend Max here to help me out with introducing a few ways we can start taking those CARs that are more familiar and bringing them closer to the speed of life, or the kind of movements that we would need in everyday life when we're not thinking about our joints or thinking about our movement. For that reason, some of these moves are a little bit like chaotic for your body, especially for your hips and low back and shoulders. So if you're in maybe a little touchy place right now, or you know you have kind of a challenge at a certain joint, then this might not be the class for you. But if you're feeling good with your CARs and you're kind of interested in seeing what this speed play work is about, then stay tuned. We're going to need just some good floor space today. So a yoga mat probably won't cut it in terms of the amount of room you need. I'd even recommend kind of pushing a coffee table out of the way if you're in the living room or whatever, so you have some real space. This mat you see that we're on is about as small as it could be for needing to do what we'll do on the final drill. Okay? Go ahead and let's dive into this workout with a little bit of segmentation for your spine. So just come into hands and knees to begin. Okay, take a breath or two. Feel your feet on the floor and your hands on the floor. And then once you're ready, let's start with the chin moving into your neck, finding that stretch on the back of your neck, rounding your upper back, spending some effort through your legs and your hands, but not burning out at all, but really just sensing into your body. Once your tail's curled all the way up underneath you, hold that and start sending your chin away from your neck, finding some active contraction on the back of your neck, your upper back, mid back, and all the way down to the tailbone. Okay? On this next rep, pulling your chin into your neck, I want you to try to fully disconnect from any need to move at a certain speed or do it a certain way. Instead, I want you to tune into your intuition about this movement. Is there any spots you could pause and micro adjust into a position that your body is asking for or offering you? As you finish up flexion, start going in the other direction, but again, move at your speed. Go by feel. Very nice. The theme of this class is really bridging that controlled work to our everyday life movement. All right, so let that go. We're going to progress this spinal segmentation just a little bit by walking those hands forward about a foot more than where they were a second ago. Walk your knees back a little bit. Okay, now this is a little different position at your shoulders and your hips, so you'll likely have a different experience now. Hands and feet on the ground. Start pulling your chin into your neck, rounding your upper back. Good. And once you finish rounding through your tailbone, I want you to now introduce the idea of sitting your weight back towards your heels. Go as far as your shoulders feel happy to bring you, and feel how that rounding of your back kind of goes along with this motion of your hips. Okay? Now let's start moving forward again, but from your tailbone. Okay? So keeping that curl under with your tailbone, start sending your body forward. At a certain point, you're going to feel your spine start to extend as you drive those hips forward, feeling your glutes, driving your hips forward. And now you're extending your spine segment by segment, only as far forward as feels good on your spine and on your shoulders, maybe finishing up with your chin to the sky. Okay? Now, Max looks like you got a good spot. You might need to step your hands forward a little bit more or back, but let's go from the chin again. Chin into neck, round that upper back, pushing the earth away to find your upper back rounding, find your mid back rounding, find that lower back rounding, and then once you've maxed it out, send your body weight back towards your heels. Okay? I really encourage you again, don't worry about doing this right or wrong, but use this procedure to feel into some new sensations. To come forward, start that motion from your tailbone. Almost like you're a wave in the ocean, slowly moving forward and feeling that wave energy travel up your spine, slowly, so that if your chin lifts, it's almost like the end of a whip finishing up that wave motion. Okay, go ahead, just take 15 more seconds, move into whatever shape feels good for you, or continue with this seal-cat segmentation. Breathing, sensing, adjusting, connecting, and relax. Awesome job. Okay, so I like that one partly just because it incorporates some warm-up for hips and shoulders. So I use that one quite a bit before any workout. All right, so now we're going to move into our first exploration of slow to fast movement. We're going to do this from your back, working on a little hip rotation. So go ahead, come down laying on your back. And we're going to do a move that might be familiar to you to start, which is just exploring rotation of one hip joint at a time while we're consciously keeping the rest of the body still and active. So take a second to make your lower back steady and connected to the floor. You can feel Max kind of feeling his abs to feel some action there, some activity. I always tell people, imagine a puppy's about to jump on your stomach. Are you ready? That means your torso's braced. Okay? Keep that brace and just bring your right knee off the floor so it's right over your hip socket. And then start rotating that thigh bone in the hip socket as far as you can into external rotation, and then as far as you can the other way. Feel free to put one finger on your kneecap if it helps you note that your thigh is just rotating and not waving side to side or coming towards your belly or away from your belly. Okay? Now this is really, like many CARs, this is as much about assessing and becoming aware of what's happening in your body as it is about training. So don't feel like you need to reach that foot as far as possible and lose your brace in your midsection. Just notice that complete stop and then control the motion into the other direction. So you're not just bouncing, you're not trying to get in lots of reps, but you're really going slow and feeling into those end ranges. Okay. Great, and set that leg down. Okay, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. If you were braced, you'll probably need a little break here for a second. So just melt, and then when you're ready, make that low back heavy into the ground. Lift your left foot off the floor, knee right over hip. So some of you might feel like, oh, my knee's right over my hip. Actually check into it and go, I want my knee to be totally vertical of that hip socket. All right, and then hand on kneecap if it helps you. Start your 30 seconds of hip capsule rotation. Ankle moving across your body into external rotation of the hip, and then away from your midline for internal rotation of the hip. Back and forth. Feeling some muscles turning on and working to pull you into that end range. And always noticing your low back is heavy into the floor. Definitely not starting to arch away from the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, so now we're going to start adding a little bit of speed to this movement and just seeing what options are available to us through rotation. So again, bring that right leg off the floor. And we're going to introduce a movement one leg at a time that we will eventually do with both legs at once, called an egg beater. So we're going to do one leg here first. Start by rotating that right thigh into external rotation. And then we're going to use the heel to draw a circle as we come into internal rotation. Bend that knee more to come back into external rotation. And you could connect with the rotation of your thigh, or you could connect with maybe a marker on your heel that's drawing a circle, and you're using your hip and your knee to make that a nice smooth circle. Okay? Slowly begin speeding up the circle that you're drawing, trying to find that spot where you lose control and working just inside of that speed. So not so fast that you lose control, but right on the line. 3, 2, 1. And relax. Okay, we're going to do that same leg going in the other direction. Okay, so while it's fresh, rotate out into internal rotation. Start straightening that leg up to go into external rotation and down. Get a feel for what it feels like to draw this circle the other way. Trying to draw the biggest circle you can, but then slowly beginning to speed up and maybe noticing, oh, this direction might feel harder or it might feel better for you, just depending on what's going on in your body. And then pick it up to that speed where you're just right on the edge of losing control for 3, 2, 1, and relax. Awesome job, okay? That's a weird movement, so if you're like, I don't know if I really got it, Will, that's okay. We'll come back to it, all right? Let's do the left leg, same idea. Okay, so knee is up, externally rotate the thigh. Then as you internally rotate, bring that knee into a little straighter position, and then bend that knee to come back into external rotation. Okay? Another way I could have said that is draw a circle with your heel. Good. And as you get a sense of that circle, a sense of the movement, slowly ask for it to go a little bit faster in this direction. Not worrying too much if the rest of your body is starting to wiggle a little bit with this speed. For 3, 2, 1, pause. Okay, and start going the other way. Okay, so start an internal rotation, straighten the leg to come over into external rotation, then bend the knee to start going back into internal rotation. Good. As you get a sense of this, go right to feeling like you're drawing a circle with your heel. Good. Rotate, rotate, rotate. A little bit faster. Trying to find the spot where your body's like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure if I have control anymore. And working just inside of that zone for 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, so at about this stage, as things start to get a little bit challenging, maybe you feel some muscles burning, you might be wondering, what the heck, Will? What is the point of this movement? This move actually comes from jiu-jitsu world, where there's players spend a lot of time on their back trying to resist an opponent coming at them. So if your feet can move, you have a better ability to block that opponent coming at you. Okay? But even if you're not a jiu-jitsu athlete, the ability to move through rotation ends up showing up all throughout life, all throughout movement. So this is just a nice way to work on it, and I learned it from the jiu-jitsu world. When we do it in jiu-jitsu, we do both legs. So now that's what we're going to do now. Okay? So lift both feet off the ground and think about those circles you're going to draw with your heels. You're going to draw both circles in one direction, okay? Sorry, in alternating directions. So your right leg draws that circle one way, your left leg draws it the other way. And this gets into that egg beater idea. So heel, 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 coming in across that midline. As you get a feel for it, begin speeding it up. And this time I want you to take it to the fastest speed you can, just for 10 seconds, letting your body wiggle. 4, 3, 2, a little bit of chaos is okay, and 1, relax. Okay, set those feet down. Take a little break. Tons of work for the midsection, tons of work for the hip flexors. So take a break. We're just going to do one more set, okay? I want you to try to go the other way. Yeah, so take a second and think, which way were you going, and try to go the other way. If you end up going in the same direction, no worries, all right? You're getting some good rotation in. But I think for Max, he was going this way. So now we're going to go that other direction. So the right leg is now going in clockwise and the left leg in counterclockwise. Go ahead and begin feeling it out, sensing how you're drawing opposite direction circles with your feet. And then as you get a sense for it, keep drawing those circles as you speed up. Good. Letting your body move with you to help you find this knee bend and hip rotation. Egg beaters, 10 seconds, y'all. Great work. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right? I don't know about you, but that looks like a pretty scary jiu-jitsu athlete to come trying to grapple with. All right, nice job. Let's let that one go. And now move up to some work for your shoulders, okay? Now for this, you're gonna probably wanna come up to standing. For sake of the camera angle, I'm gonna have Max just do tall kneeling here. But either way, you wanna make sure your hand has full room to swing next to you and swing overhead, because we're going to move through that sort of shoulder car motion. One more piece, you're gonna wanna brace your body with your non-moving arm. So we will be using a bright orange dowel, but you could just as soon use the back of a chair, a wall, or just a table, anything that's gonna lend your body a little stability and not get in the way of your moving arm, okay? So let's just all recall that shoulder car together. Reach your right arm out in front of you. Create some tension through your body using that brace or that support that you have. And then start the motion cutting your right arm across, sweeping up overhead, keeping your elbows straight. When you hit your sticking point, begin internally rotating the arm. Use that internal rotation to access the area behind your body and engage the back of your shoulder. As your arm gets to your hip, reverse course, drive that arm straight back. At this sticking point, we roll into external rotation and then use that external rotation to reach behind, overhead, and all the way across. Nice, okay, shake it out. Stay on this arm, okay? First step of adding speed is, can we just do that exact same car, but a little bit faster, okay? So it's gonna be less perfect, all right? Cutting the arm across your body, smoothly sweep up overhead, internally rotate through that sticky point, come to your hip. Reverse, smoothly reach back, externally rotate through that sticking point, and come back. Okay, one more, a little faster. Challenge yourself. Be okay with losing a little control, but gaining a little bit of speed. Okay, one more, faster. Good, very nice. All right, let that go. Let's warm up the other shoulder, okay? So maybe turn around if you need to. Find that brace through the right arm. Left arm reaches straight out in front. Make sure your elbow's straight. Cutting across your body in slow-mo, moving through wet cement. Find that end range position. Start to internally rotate around that sticking point, not letting your torso move. At your hip, you reverse course and send that arm behind you before externally rotating through the sticking point and coming all the way up and across. Okay, second rep, you could go at the same speed if you wanted to feel into those positions, or just a little bit faster, smoother. Okay, cut across, sweep up overhead, keeping the elbows straight, internally rotate, reaching behind and back, externally rotating all the way up, over, and across. Okay, third rep, a little faster than you can control. So just a little bit more speed, a little less control. Final one, stay braced, move it a little bit quicker, really flirting with that line of losing control. Okay, and set it down. All right, find your stability on your left side, so now we can move this right arm. So the shoulder car is a very prescribed motion that helps you get all the way into your end range. And I want you to compare that to the idea of just swinging your arm around like this, okay? We're gonna try to explore the zone between those two, all right? So we'll do a one or two on a slightly slower zone and then add speed. Reach your right arm out in front of you, okay? Start in a car position and then picking up faster than where you left off on this right arm, up and over, roll, come to your hip. Back, roll, come around. Little faster, up, roll, hip, back, roll in front of you, okay? Now we're gonna do that for continuous reps in one direction. Try this out. Start across, up, roll, reach behind, come right back in front of you, up, roll, reach behind. Little faster now, team, little faster. Good. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Great. Okay, let's try that same sequence on the right, on the other direction. Back, roll, and around. Back, roll, and around. Okay, so give it a shot. Reaching behind, rolling through external rotation. Every time you go through your hip, You want that palm out, so you're internally rotating to start your reach behind you. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good. Okay, move on over to the other arm. And we're gonna, again, add more speed. So left arm across. Good. Start sweeping up overhead. Roll to reach back, and then go right back. Roll to come back. Okay, let's now try a few in one direction. So up and back, start again in front of you. Every time you come in front, palm is up. Every time you hit your sticking point, you're rolling your arm around. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good, shake it out. Working hard, right? This is hard work. All right, let's try going the other way. So start at your hip, palm out. Every time you hit your hip, you want to be internally rotated to start your reach back. Here we go. Reach back, roll through. Hand at hip, reach back, roll through. Keep going. Finding that feeling of rolling. 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right, shake that out. Go ahead and come onto your first arm, the final piece here. So speed really becomes safe for your body when your brain senses that you have brakes, meaning you have the ability to stop at a certain position. So we're going to try this as a little experiment. You're going to start going in that first direction, picking up as much speed as feels safe for you, and then at a certain spot, I'm going to say pause. You might be here, you might be here, you might be there. Doesn't matter where you are. It matters that when you get there, you're going to hold the position and notice what has to work and see if we can just turn up the intensity of that contraction while you're holding there. Okay? Just going to do one on each arm. All right, here we go. Start reaching up and overhead, maybe starting slower and getting a feel for palm up in front of you every time, adding speed. Good. Keep this speed now. Get ready. And freeze. Wherever you might be, feel the muscles that stopped you. Okay, Max happened to stop right out in front, and that's fine. Shake that arm out, arm by the side. We're now going to try the other direction. If you can, try to stop somewhere behind you now if you stopped in front, or the alternate, okay? Palm out at your hip, start slow, reaching back and rolling. Palm out at your hip, reaching back and rolling. Get a feel for it as you speed up. Now hold this speed. And freeze. Good, hold that. Feel what is working in your shoulder to give you brakes here, and melt that away. Okay, so just a little taster. Let's go over to the other side. If this was a real capacity you needed, let's say you were a throwing athlete or something like that, we would want to do lots of reps practicing your brakes at a specific angle. But for today, we're just exploring, all right? Palm out in front of you on this left side. Start sweeping up, roll, and around. And just get a feel for this motion in one direction again. Good, so palm out in front of you every time. There we go. Up and over, roll. Good, yeah, you might gotta go a little slower on one side to get a feel for it. Okay, now pick up speed. Find this speed, and we're gonna do our pause. 3, 2, 1, freeze. Wherever you are, hold it. Feel what's working in your body. Can you work it more? And now relax. Okay, shake it. We do one more on this side to go in the other direction. Okay, palm out. Good. Brace your body. Start slow, reaching behind. Good. Every time, palm is out at your hip. Building speed up to the speed that feels challenging and fast but controlled. And pause in 3, 2, 1, pause. Good, wherever you pause is great. Just feel that contraction, feel that brace, and relax it. Okay, nice work. Give yourself a little pat on the back. All right, so we're gonna let those shoulders take a little break and come now to our final move into 90-90, okay? Set up with your left leg as the forward leg in 90-90 and right leg as the back leg. And don't worry about it being the world's best 90-90 because we are gonna be doing lots of 90-90s and not having time to make them perfect, okay? So from this position, go ahead and lean way back to get both hands on the ground, but arms straight to start, okay? And from here, just turn your belt buckle towards that left side as much as you can. And then begin this movement slow as you might have remembered it. Back knee lifts up while the front knee stays down. Once your knees get stretched as far apart as possible, keep that space between the knees as you transition to sitting on your butt. And then you try to get your right knee to the floor while your left knee is way hanging back. Once that right knee gets down, you're turning your pelvis to face that right side and then setting that back knee down. Okay? Now you can see Max is kind of moving his hands around. That's great. If that's what you need to do, that's perfect. Let's try one to get back. So keeping that right knee still, lift your left. Then let your belt buckle turn. When you feel like your front knee is going to come off the ground, do it with control. Coming onto a seated position. Turning to get your left knee to the floor, your belt buckle to face to the left, and then your right knee down. Okay? So usually when we use 90-90, we're using it to improve end range position for rotation of the hips. Works great for that, but it also it ends up being a way that we can work on speed in and out of the end range positions of the hips, but we need to be willing to lose a little of that control and therefore lose a little of that range of motion. So it's going to get a little sloppier as we add speed, and that's okay here today, all right? This time, left hand on the floor, right hand will stay off the floor to start. And instead of starting your roll with that back leg, I want you to start coming onto your elbow first. And then as you come onto your back, let your knee open, kind of like you just did a second ago. Come onto your right elbow, roll to the right side, and back up. Okay? If you didn't catch that, we're going to do the exact same thing again. Right elbow to the floor, left knee opens, left elbow. Oh man, let's do it one more time. Hand, elbow, hips, elbow, hand, hips. Good. Okay, and let's get back. Come onto the elbow. Good. Okay, now this time you're going to come fully onto your back, but just note when you are that you're trying to keep your knees open. All right, so come to the elbow, lay all the way on your back. Yes, feel that kind of fall over with your knees going in the other direction. Cool. Okay. Keep trying this at your own pace, rolling through your back, letting your knees flop over. And notice that there's kind of a sticky spot right there where you're trying to roll onto your other side. Okay, and just notice that. Feel how smoothly you can roll through that. Last one. And relax. Okay, so that spot is basically where our mobility runs out, and we could potentially use some momentum to help us through that, okay? As we add this momentum piece, if you get lost, just go right back to that roll that you just did on your back to switch, okay? Watch Max first do one. So he's gonna do it slow first. Come down to the elbow, roll onto the back. When he gets here, he's gonna kick his back leg around to give him momentum to roll on up onto 90-90 facing the other way. Ta-da! He made it onto his other side. Great work. Let's go back. So hand, elbow, back, kick your back leg all the way around to find some momentum. Okay? So he's showing it almost too slow for there to be momentum, but I bet if I got out of his way a little bit and gave him some space, the key point is that he's going to kick his back leg. You're going to kick your back leg around. Just give it a try here. Rolling, kicking, smoothly finding 90-90. Rolling, kicking the back leg. Yes, okay? You might find a straighter back leg or a more bent back leg, but the idea is that you feel what makes you move smoothly through momentum. Okay? Good. Very nice. Last couple here. Woo, good job navigating your space, whatever you're in. Okay, relax here. Just sit back for a second. Now, one more piece that you can play with to add more momentum is that the amount your knee angle bends is sort of the length of that hip lever. Okay, so if we have think of a teeter-totter, if we have a longer distance from the center of the teeter-totter to the end, we have actually a lot more force or momentum we're playing with. If it's a shorter teeter-totter, it's less momentum, okay? So what Max was just showing here was with a bent knee, and it was plenty to get him around, but now I want him to try, and I want you to try as well, trying to extend that back leg as it kicks around, almost like you're trying to kick something over your head, obviously respecting whatever stretch you find in that hamstring. Okay, this is just playtime, so go ahead and find 90-90, roll onto your elbow and back, and kick that back leg as straight as you can. Beautiful. And the other way, kick that back leg. Good, good. 30 more seconds, just playing with it at your own pace, navigating your space, dare I say, enjoying yourself a little bit. Playtime. Unlock that kid feel of just rolling around on the ground. Boom. And one more in each direction. You got this. And relax. All right, very nice work. If you're anything like me, you're going to turn the class off and just keep rolling around on the ground, maybe with some great tunes, or maybe you're cooked and you're ready for a break. Either way is great. Thanks so much for joining us today, and let us know any questions.